If you're married but you feel alone, then this video is for you. Look, maybe you live together, you share responsibilities, you talk about schedules, maybe you even share kids, but you don't feel understood. You don't feel emotionally connected and seen. And most people, most relationships, they don't lose love. They lose emotional connection. And that connection only comes back and stays back when you rebuild it and keep building it on purpose. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how emotional neglect begins to slowly destroy your marriage. And even when there's no big fight there, no big crisis, it begins to destroy your marriage. Look, most couples, they think what? Like, well, it's just, we're busy. We're just going through one of those seasons. We have a lot on our plate right now. And it's just normal after kids, right? That's just what couples go through. And then this is what marriage turns into type of thing. This is just how it is, right? And then they look at other relationships like, oh, they're like that too, right? But this is incomplete. This is not about you being busy. This is about emotional investment. Are you emotionally investing in your relationship without blaming the other person? Look, emotional neglect doesn't look like all dramatic and mad, and like it doesn't have to be so loud. But what it looks like is no real conversations. It's all superficial. Just stuck in routines, right? Like I call them routines. There's no deep conversations. There's no check-ins. There's no caring. There's no curiosity. There's no like really asking from like, hey, how are you really? There's no, and because of that, there's no emotional support, especially during stress or hard times. And so this is where the problem is. You maybe you'll handle like the logistics. Maybe you're very practical, and it doesn't mean that you don't care or you're not doing things. But it's not about the logistics. It's about handling hearts, handling your spouse's heart. Look, every couple that goes into this feeling lonely in their relationship where they're feeling misunderstood, you know what happens? It's the same path. It's the same pattern in all relationships. You're not the only one if you're feeling this, okay? But in the marriages, life, what happens? It gets busy, right? Like we have stuff. We have the problems, and then all of a sudden we're not checking in emotionally anymore. One person starts to feel unseen. They stop sharing, and then the other person doesn't even notice, and then they start to get bad and like, why don't you notice? And then you start to say, I feel alone in this relationship. And then the other person's shocked, like, what? You know, and this is why it feels very familiar. And if this is feeling familiar, then what do we do? Look, it's not that your spouse doesn't care. There's still love there. It's not that you chose the wrong person. It's not that, look, the real issue is that you were never taught how to protect emotional connection when life gets stressful, when life gets heavy. Like, I don't know, I wasn't trained that. Nobody trains couples for this specific thing in real life. See, the problem is not your partner. The problem is disconnect. The problem is emotional misunderstanding, the emotional drift. When you stop checking in, that distance begins to quietly replace the intimacy. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about intimacy is into me you see. Intimacy. See, when you stop checking in on purpose, with purpose consistently, now all of a sudden you're not seeing into me. There's no into me you see. There's no checking in. There's nothing deeper. It's all superficial. And that's why you start to get that drift. Look, this is what I want you to do. If you would be, please give me permission to give you some coaching right now, yes? And it's not about going for a perfect relationship. It's not about perfection, but it's about progression. It's about growth. It's about moving forward in our relationship. This is what I would like you to do. It's a challenge, right? But it's worth it. We love them. Look, every day, I want you to ask one real question. Just ask one real question. And it's like, hey, what's been weighing on you lately? What's been stressing you out? What's been bothering you? And just listen. Don't try to just jump in and fix it. And if it's about you, don't try to explain, right? Like, just listen. Just listen. If you do this before if you do this before you create a big problem, right? Like before there's any big crisis or things like that. Like you do this before and do it intentionally every day and not wait for a crisis to be like, hey, what's going on? That's a little late. So this is why you have to have this daily emotional connection, deposits, right? That prevents this emotional instability, this emotional bankruptcy. So you have deposits and bankruptcy, right? So you have to have daily emotional deposits to prevent emotional bankruptcy. That's so good. Daily emotional deposits prevent emotional bankruptcy. That's so powerful. Look, connection goes through Connection goes through feeling seen, understood. Like understanding is what is under your standing, what is under their standing, where are they standing at, where are they coming from, why do they feel like that, why are they seen? Like really to care about how they feel and make them feel seen. When somebody feels heard, when somebody feels seen and understood without being corrected and judged, okay, like their nervous system begins to relax. Their safety, their feeling of safety, their feeling of certainty begins to grow, and that is what starts to bring that connection and attraction back in your relationship. See, emotional intimacy is fuel. It's the power, and without it, your love is going to feel empty, and then you're going to start to doubt, like, oh, we're falling out of love. Do you see how this happens? Look, you can't show up to these type of conversations when you're checking in. Hey, what's been bothering you? What's been weighing on you? What's been frustrating you? Like, check in every day. And when you do it, don't show up in this, like, defensive. Don't be going, like, you have to go in there, like, knowing you might not like what you hear, and it's not about that. It's not about you. It's about you really making them feel understood, right? So you can't show up bothered and defensive. You can't show up distracted. You must show up with this question. Hey, how are you feeling today? What's weighing on you? Being fully present. Emotional leadership in your marriage means you care about how they feel. You want your spouse to feel peace in their hearts. It's their inner world, right? It's not just the outer responsibilities and the things and the stuff that we have to do with the kids and the bills and the schedules and the calendars and the family. Like, that's important, but I'm talking about you dealing with the inner world of your spouse. Not just outer responsibilities. This is your responsibility to connect, to have that emotional investment. So look, when communication breaks connection. Communication can break connection if there's no emotional understanding there, right? So emotional neglect will make somebody feel alone even when you're talking. So you can talk all you want. That's not going to fix it. They need to feel connected emotionally. And this is what leads us to the next mistake in our marriages that, again, divide, destroy, that kill our relationship, that kill the connection. Look, even when you are connected, disrespect can destroy that attraction really fast, yes or no? Disrespect. So maybe you're talking, you're connecting great, but then the disrespect is triggered and it's like, then you start saying, what? Why are you talking to me like that? Why are you talking like that? Talking like what? And then then there's a fight that happens, right? That's where we're going to go into the next episode. Now look, if you're thinking, man, this sounds like me. All these things that we're talking about, like, yeah, we're going through this and I see it. And maybe you're not in a crisis, but you do know you need to make a change. Go into the description here. Take my free relationship assessment. Look, it's going to show you where you're wrong, where you're strong, where you're drifting, where your opportunities are, and what needs to change right now, right? So it's going to bring a lot of clarity, awareness of your part in your relationship. And then your spouse can take the quiz too. It's free, right? It's just like 8 questions. It takes like 2 minutes, but it gives you so much clarity, so much understanding of yourself, right? It starts to rebuild your daily connection, your emotional safety, your intention when you're dealing with them. So please take it. Look, loneliness in your marriage, it doesn't explode. It starts to grow quietly. But the longer that emotional neglect stays there, the harder the vulnerability becomes, right? So you don't have to panic, but we do need to pivot. You do need to be doing things intentionally from now on, yes or no? So you didn't lose love, guys. You just lost connection, and that connection comes back when you rebuild it on purpose, with purpose, every day, yes? So remember, in the next one, we're going to be talking about, and go check it out. This is the whole series of the 5 biggest mistakes that are killing our relationships, right? And the next one, we're going to be talking about how disrespect is one of the most expensive, destructive things in relationships. So bless you guys. May God bless your relationship and protect your home. We'll see you in the next episode.